Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to dive into the life of one of the greatest football players of all time, Pele from Brazil. At the age of 82, Pele has died away, and unquestionably the finest in his era. A month in the Albert Einstein Hospital later, Edson Arantes do Nascimento passed away. Here, we explain why Edson Arantes do Nascimento was known as Pele, one of the most well-known nicknames in history of football. Pele was the name of Edson Arantes do Nascimento, a Brazilian football player who played as a striker and was born on October 23, 1940. In 1958, 1962, and 1970, he was the only player to win 3 World Cups. He was 17 years old at the time and the youngest player to ever win a World Cup. Why is Pele more popular than Edson Arantes? You must look back in his early years to understand it. Edson Arantes' uncle Jorge claims that when he was a young child, Edson Arantes was used as a goalkeeper to aid his rivals. Pele was such a skilled striker that his opponents had no chance against him. Some compared him with Bile, a goalie his father had played with when he made saves. He was first addressed as Bile, but eventually his nickname changed to Pele. Pele himself said that he had never liked this alias since he was proud of the fact that his real name, Edson, was derived from the inventor Thomas Edison. He even got into a physical altercation with the classmate who came up with it, which led to a 2-day suspension from school. He added that he initially perceived it as an insult because it had no meaning in his native tongue, but that his perception had altered after learning that it actually meant wonder in Hebrew. I've gotten better at sharing my heart with 2 individuals over the years. Both Pele and football player Edson enjoy time with their friends and family. In a previous interview he stated, "Why is he referred to as Ore?" His nickname Pele took second place since he was always given it. After winning 3 World Cups, he also came to be known as King. The moniker Ore first appeared during the 1958 World Cup, which propelled Pele's Brazil to fame. The inspiration for this, known in French as Le Roi, came from the French magazine Paris Match. At the age of 16, Pele made his international debut, and the following year, he participated in his first World Cup finals match in Sweden. At first, the Brazilian manager was cautious to use his young star. Pele made an immediate impression when he eventually entered the field, rattling the post with 1 shot and earning an assist. In the semi-final against France, he scored 3 goals, and in the final, Brazil defeated Sweden 5-2, he scored 2 goals. In the second game of the 1962 World Cup Finals, Pele tore a thigh muscle and was forced to miss the rest of the competition. Brazil eventually won its second World Cup championship nevertheless. Brazil was eliminated in the first round of the 1966 World Cup due to rough play and injuries, and Pele thought about quitting international competition. When he came back in 1970 for one more World Cup competition, he linked up with rising stars Jairzinho and Rivellino to win Brazil's 3rd title and secure the Jules Rimet Trophy for good. With 12 goals in 14 games, Pele had a World Cup career high. Pele became famous all around the world thanks to his exciting play and propensity for spectacular goals. In order to fully capitalize on his fame, his squad Santos went on tour abroad. When he and his squad visited Nigeria in 1967, the civil war there was put on hold for 48 hours so that everyone could witness the great player. In 1975, Pele signed a 3-year, $7 million contract with the New York Cosmos of the North American Soccer League in order to promote the game in the United States after having announced his retirement in 1974. After helping the Cosmos win the league championship in 1977, he decided to retire. In 1978, Pele received the International Peace Award. He was elected Athlete of the Century by the International Olympic Committee in 1999, as well as by the French sports magazine L'Équipe in 1980. In Santos, Brazil, the Pele Museum debuted in 2014. In addition to his achievements in sports, he also wrote and starred in a number of best-selling autobiographies and documentary and semi-documentary films. Additionally, he created a variety of musical compositions, notably the soundtrack for the movie Pele in 1977. Nobody can say for sure how Edson Arantes do Nascimento was abbreviated to just Pele, but those 4 letters were recognized and revered everywhere in the world. Pele once responded to a journalist's inquiry about if his fame was similar to that of Jesus Christ by saying, "There are regions of the world where Jesus Christ is not that well known." At the age of 15, a relentless goal-scoring career began. Pele won the World Cup at the age of 17. In 1962 and 1970, he would motivate Brazil to 2 additional victories. In total, he scored 1,279 goals over 1,363 matches, which is a Guinness World Record. However, many disagree with it because it includes friendly games. Pele was among the highest-paid athletes of his day, but his earnings pale in comparison to the eye-popping earning possibilities of modern sports stars. Some have claimed that Pele tainted the integrity of his footballing legacy through commercialism by endorsing everything from Coca-Cola to Viagra. His last years were plagued by health issues, and subsequently failed hip procedures rendered him wheelchair-dependent. He had surgery to remove a tumor from his intestines in September 2021. The well-known former player Michel Platini saw the distinction between Pele's on- and off-field lives. Pele was both a football player and a man, but when he played the game, Pele was God. Pele the boy, the son of footballer João Ramos do Nascimento, also known as Dondinho, and Celeste Arantes, grew raised in abject poverty in the favelas of Três Corocos. Although Pele never confirmed the rumor, the boy's failure to pronounce the name of the local Vasco da Gama goalkeeper Bile may have given him the moniker everyone knew him by. He was named after the American inventor Thomas Edison, but without the letter I. Pele, who inherited his father's football genes, would play in the streets with a grapefruit or a sock filled. Because of his inherent potential, Pele's youth team coach told the Santos directors that the 15-year-old will one day be the best football player in the world. At the age of 16, he scored the most goals in the league. He would go on to score 643 goals overall in 659 games for Santos, his club for 18 years, until 1974 as they dominated Brazilian domestic football. This was the most goals ever scored for a single club before Lionel Messi broke it in December of last year with his 644th goal for Barcelona. However, Pele's World Cup accomplishments for Brazil are what really made him famous around the world and gave him widespread praise. He had a knee ailment when he arrived in Sweden for the 1958 competition at the young age of 17, but his teammates asked that he be selected for the team. He was the youngest player ever to play in a World Cup at the time, and he scored twice as Brazil defeated Sweden 5-2 in the championship game. Pele put in so much effort that he collapsed at the last whistle and needed to be awakened by teammate Garrincha before breaking down in tears of happiness. During Brazil's successful championship defense in 1962, Pele was injured and missed the majority of the match's crowning achievement. Fans were enthralled by Pele and his yellow-shirted teammates as satellites broadcast the games from Mexico throughout the world because many living rooms had color televisions at the time. Pele was infamously denied in the group stage match against England by Gordon Banks's save of the century after yelling "goal" as the ball left his head. The team of the century off of Pele's blind ball. Pele was courted by prestigious European clubs throughout his career, Manchester United, but he chose to remain with Santos, despite the fact that they frequently traveled Europe to capitalize on his renown. He played in the North American Soccer League with the New York Cosmos in 1975 after 2 years of semi-retirement. It was expected when Pele was hurt among a crowd of enraged fans at a public appearance in Boston soon after his arrival and had to be taken away on a stretcher for a nation that was purportedly uninterested in soccer. With Richard Nixon and Jimmy Carter among the presidents to give him an audience at the White House, Pele's renown made him a household name even in the U.S. His presence aided in the game's introduction to the U.S. market and convinced other legends like Johan Cruyff, George Best, and Franz Beckenbauer to participate. In 1977, Muhammad Ali's final game was an exhibition game between the Cosmos and Santos, and good friends Bobby Moore and Muhammad Ali were there. One Brazilian newspaper reported that even the sky was crying during the second half as rain poured down on the stadium. Pele's annual income during his playing career was reportedly approximately $150,000, but the $2.8 million three-year contract he signed with New York in the latter stages of his career greatly increased his wealth. However, he continued to accept a number of lucrative commercial sponsorships after retiring, whether out of necessity or desire, and it is claimed that this earned him $14 million. Pele's impact on the sport of football cannot be overstated. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all time and is remembered for his incredible skills, grace, and sportsmanship. Today, he continues to inspire young players around the world. That's all for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed this brief look into the life of Pele. Let us know in the comments below what other legendary football players you'd like to see us cover in the future. Thanks for watching.